Hello everyone, welcome to the first tutorial video, and today I'll be teaching you guys how to make police vehicle liveries in GTA 5. Be sure to subscribe and like this video. This can be used for your FiveM, fivepd server, single player mod or LSPDFR. So here are a few things that you need for making liveries. The first thing you need is OpenIV. This one will be for your vehicles and to check your vehicles without going to the game back and forth. And second one you need is of Photoshop. This one will make you to paint on the vehicle template and making textures on your vehicle template. Some people they prefer to use paint.net, which means it's free. There's nothing wrong with it. We're using the same skills and same methods. And the third one you need, and the most important thing, is that you need a vehicle. You can either find that on lspdfr.com, gtapolicemods.com, or GTA5. Some website that will release free versions of vehicles, but not leaked vehicles. And you want to have the vehicle, and the vehicle will come with a template. Looks like this. And first thing we need to do is import this template. Just drag and drop that into your Photoshop. Of course, I'm not going to do that because I already have it set up right here. So the first thing we need to do is I am going to be making a vehicle from my last video. Of course, you guys can see. I'll teach you guys how to make a livery. Looks like this one right here. This one will be the beginner's level, which means we just paint a part of the vehicle and making some textures. This is the beginning, the super easy vehicle liveries that I can ever make. Then in the future I'll be making something more intermediate, means that we will have to paste some we'll have to draw outlines on the letters. We will have to paste some pictures, and we'll teach you guys how to make a license plate like that and drawing lines like that. Then when we go into more advanced or more expert, we'll be going into something like this, which means you have to shadows the lettering, and you'll have to draw the outlines. You'll have to you have to make the badge yourself. Then you'll have to do all those stuff. So those will be more expert level. But today we'll go easy to learn the basic skills that we need. So the first thing we need is to open a new layer, and we are going to paint the base color. The base color, what I mean, is the base of the vehicle, the base color of the vehicle. Of course, you guys can see on this picture right here that I have, the vehicle itself is black. So we are going to, so the base color of this vehicle will be black, and we're going to paint this to G, using G quick key to use our paint bucket. And now the vehicle base color has been made. It's all black. And now we want to go down to opacity, turn that down, so that way you can see the template, but at the same time you know the vehicle itself is black. And from here, what you're going to do is to draw the bottom line, which means this part, this white part right here. We're going to draw the line, and we're going to use our laser tool, add a new layer. No, I already did, so we don't need that. So we want to zoom in a little bit so you can see the line better. So basically what we're going to do is we'll just follow this line right here to draw all the way across, and we'll draw it down and go all the way around it. So what this do is it will select this area, and you can do whatever you want in here, like paint a color, which means that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna change the color from black to white. Press OK, quick key G, and get the paint bucket and paint it. And now it looks pretty straight to me, and it seems like everything's lined up. Yep, everything's lined up perfectly, and you do not need to worry about those parts right there. It doesn't really matter. Everything will show on your vehicle are those blue parts, those shown parts. Those parts, it doesn't matter unless it has a plate, which means says right here then you'll have to be careful what you're gonna put right there. And we are going to check, make sure everything is lined up straightly, and seems so far everything seems pretty good. And now we are going to work on the bottom part. I like to work like step by step, then from here to here. So if I do something over here, and I'll also at the same time just drag it down here. So now what we're gonna do is use Control C to copy this layer, and then Control V to paste this layer. And you guys can see it does not fit, and we're gonna use Control T, select this layer, right click to flip horizontal. Now you guys can see flipped horizontal, it likes a mirror. So now we just need to make sure that everything has been lined up. We're gonna line up, so we basically line up like right here. And for the bottom one, we are going to do the same to make it line up like that. So now we basically finished the first step of creating this livery, like we finished this bottom part. Now next one we're gonna make the police sign, the police lettering. The most police lettering they use are basically impact. So you press T, get your typing out, and you want to make sure the your font is select to impact regular, and to select, which means it's too small, and don't be afraid to make it huge, like 200. And you want to type police all uppercase. You can see it's a bit distance away from each other. We're gonna go to VA and select this down to 0. And right here we'll just hold Control to make it big, make it large, and we'll make sure that it sits on here right. We go back to see that apparently that it did not touch the handlebar, so we are not going to touch the handlebar. We're just gonna leave it like about right here. And if it's a bit tall, then you just zoom down a little bit. And of course it's a bit too small, so we're gonna make it a bit bigger and make it a bit shorter. And you guys can see it's kind of stretched out a little bit too much, because over this picture it does not have that much space. So what we're gonna do is select it, and we'll select VA and make sure it's going down to 50%. 50 is too much. Let's go with 25. So 25, it looks alright to me. It's based on you, how you want the vehicle livery looks like. So you guys can see there's a little bit tiny gap right here. We're just gonna tilt this to the forward a little bit. Make sure it's all leveled up, and we'll bring this down a little bit. And you'll select on the letter, hold Control, and you'll see this pop window right here. So you just want to tilt this to the front, I think. Let's look. So this one's tilt to the back. So the other side, let's look. So the other side will be tilted to the front, to the forward. So we'll just drag this down to forward. So let's go with 15. And that seems about right. And we'll just, now once you're done with that, you press Enter to exit out the windows. And you want to hold Control, left Control, until you see this mouse showed up, and you want to drag it back a little bit. And of course you guys can see it's kind of touching the door, because here's the door line, which means that's not what we want to see. So basically I made this a bit too big, and we'll just make it smaller. And we'll just drag this over a little bit more. So we'll have the T and this door line right here. We'll just make them meet with each other. And let's just come to the forward a little bit more. And there we go. There I have the first part. And now we're going to do the same thing. Control C, Control V. And we'll copy this and drag this one down. And of course we'll have to make a small adjustment every time when we copy and paste something, because the templates cannot always be 100% on cannot be 100% same. They'll be a little bit different from top one and to the bottom one, tiny bit, but it doesn't really matter. uh, what matter is that as long you can fix those small details, that's all that matters. Make your vehicle skin looks nice. So now that sits right, and we zoom out, everything looks pretty decent, and we'll just go back to check, make sure there's no gap in between those letters, between the letter and the bar. So everything seems pretty decent to me. And now we can move on. Next one we're going to do, so we'll do a emergency dial 911 back here. I am going to try with impact. Of course, it's going to be too large. We're going to change this down to 100. I'm going to do emergency. I spelled it wrong. Okay, let's redo this. Emergency. Well, I did the all uppercase. Hang on. Emergency. Alright, so we did the emergency, and it's a bit too large. Let's see if we have any other font might look better. I think this one, the Franklin, actually looks a bit better, so we'll use this one. And we're gonna make this one smaller. And we'll make the gap smaller. And actually I can make it even, let's go with 75. 75 is a bit too critical, so we're gonna go with negative 60. Okay, this actually looks pretty decent to me. There's hardly any connecting letters, but the spacing is still pretty decent. Can't say it's awesome, but it's decent. And now we're gonna do dial, oh crap, dial 911, and we're gonna make it smaller. Basically our goal is to make this one is about the length are about the same, right? And but different size. So I think this one will not really fit. Let's see if we have let's see if we use this one. Yeah, I think Franklin, this one would do, but we just need to make this. Let's actually zoom out and see how it look. It looks actually pretty decent for me. This is my first time doing this type of style. Usually I would just do with impact all the way through, but we can always try something new. So basically it's a bit too close for this size, so we are going to move this down to 55 minus 55 spacing, and we will bring this, we'll make this squish a little bit like that. Alright, let's find that sweet spot. Actually, bring this out just a tiny bit more. There we go. Now that looks actually a bit too close. We'll just bring this down tiny bit. Perfect. Zoom out. There you go. There we have the emergency dial 911. And for the same thing, we'll have to, from here, we'll hold left shift to select both part, and you want to do Control C and Control V, and there you have this. And all you need to do is just drag it. Hold your left control, drag this one from up there and down to the bottom. You want to find that little sweet spot right here. And the reason I didn't put back to this corner is if I draw it back here, you will see the 911 sticks out. But this is the best spot I can put it at. Will be right here. Because if you go back to the other side, we are mirrored. You have to remember those are mirrored, and you'll have to look, which means this sticks out a little bit more. So if this part sticks out, and I don't think you will have any problem with this part to being stick out. We'll have to see. We'll plug that into OpenIV and check it later and come back to fix it if we don't like it. So now basically we finished this part. Then the last part we need to do is the trunk. Trunk for most vehicles can be very tricky. I'll show you guys why. For example, on this RAM, you will see there's gappings between this line right here and this line, and you have a spot that actually sticks out. So if this is the case on RAM, which means it's got a flat trunk, don't worry about it. It won't affect that much. Unless you're not making crazy lines back here, you should be fine by just putting police right here. So my goal is to make it visible, make the police visible. Of course, I have the M2s on those side, and I can't put anything over here. And of course, I got a dodge sign right here. So basically, this part is a no-go zone. So the only place I can go is right here, and we're gonna find the spot, find the line. That which line is our border to know that okay, where do we need to stop. So you want to find the sweet spot on the back, and then you want to go back to count the lines and make sure it's on the center. So I think a decent size will be from this line to this line. So this is our center. So I'll base off this one and count down to the left. 1, 2, 3, 3 lines. So that's my border to the left, and the other 3 lines for the right side. So now it's all balanced out. Now with knowing that, well, now we feel more confident to do whatever we have to do next. But this is very easy and simple, straightforward, because it's just basically a trunk with nothing else. But let me show you guys a quick example for the not the VIC. Let's see if I have a charger in here that I can show you guys. Okay, I do have a charger right here. The charger you'll have an issue is with the keyhole. Okay, and I made this livery too, by the way. Okay, the keyhole right here, it can, if you want to put a 911 and the keyhole will cut off 1 or cut off 9 or emergency or police, however you want to do it, you know, the keyhole will cut it off. And also sometimes for the state police, you know, those two, you guys think it looks balanced out, but they are not actually the same size, nor they're not on the same spacing. If I zoom in a little bit, you guys can see it's actually very tight against with each other, but on this side the state is actually got a space in between, and I try my best to match them to the balance point, so which means it looks pretty decent. That's what I'm talking about. It can be tricky, and of course you'll have a charger on this side, and sometimes you'll have to put SXT or all-wheel drive down here. So those are the small details that I guess you want to really pay attention to when you're making liveries on the back. On the side, there's really not much. There's really not that much on the charger. But again, back to our RAM right here. Usually this RAM will have a RAM 1500 right here. So I told the vehicle that to remove it, but keep this to keep the I think this is 6.4. Yeah, 6.4 to keep that, but leave that behind, because if I want to make something on the door, I want to make sure that sign right there does not block my way. So back to the back to the back. So we know our borderline is 3 from center line and 3 down to 3 over to the left and 3 over to the right. So that's our sweet spot. Now back to our line right here. So here's the first border line and here's the last border line that we cannot cross. And there's center to the left 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1, 2, 3. So that's our sweet spot. Now you want to select the most recent one, and you want to press T to get your texture out, which means it shows on impact automatically, which perfect. Now I'm gonna type police. And now all you need to do is just trying to resize it to fit whatever you want it to be. So this is the center line, and this is the line to the left. This is the line to the right. This is the line to the left. So we're gonna just trying to stretch it to make it look alright. we'll have to reset a couple of times. I will show you guys why. You guys want this to look bulky, but at the same time not huge, or otherwise it will look ugly. It will not look good. Okay, so that's what you guys need to pay attention to. Since that we did since we did 15% tilt on this police, and we're gonna do the same for this one. We'll just select this, hold left control, and tilt this to 15 degrees, and we'll have the P set at the bottom line, which means we'll be right about here. Let me deselect it real quick. So I have set right here, and of course you can see E is kind of over the border, and we just bring this back a little bit, and now we zoom out. It looks decent, not the best because the spacing is a bit off, so we'll just go back and to make it 10% so we can get more spacing. And now it's a bit too tall, we just bring down a bit. Now from here it looks actually pretty alright, but again, if you're the developer, you can always, bring down, bring up. It's really up to you how you want to balance out your livery. Just make sure they're all centered out. Now I'm gonna teach you guys something real quick. Okay, if I zoom out, if I paint my opacity back to black, the police sign right here will be really blank. So what we want to do is add a black borderline around the police sign. Here's how we're gonna do it. So you want to bring the opacity down a little bit, and you want to go down to police. You want to right click it, go to blending options, and you want to go to stroke. And stroke is let's see how I want to do it. So we'll go with black. Actually, let's go with, yes, black stroke. I will change the size to, let's see, 4. Okay, change that to 4, and we'll make a shadow. Make the drop shadow color to white, and you want to bring the distance back just a tiny bit like that, and you want to change the angle to 90 degrees straight up and down. You guys will see why in later on. So just like that, not that much, but not too much. 10 is too much, let's go with 9. So you just have to like play around to find that sweet spot. And I think this one's a bit too straight down because our letter is kind of tilted to the front, tilt forward. So I want to make it to 95. Actually make it to 85. 50. Alright, 50 seems alright. Now we're gonna bring this up to 10. Alright, that actually looks decent, but just let's make those small, and we'll just turn this. Just play with angle a little bit to make sure they all fits in. Let's make this 255. I think 55 is not really good. 60 is actually decent, so we'll just bring distance back a tiny bit, just like that. So now I am going to increase the bulkiness of the stroke. Bring that to 8. 8 is too much, so I want to bring this up to 7. That's still too much. 6, 5. Okay, 5 is okay. Drop shadow down to 9. Those tiny numbers can change a lot on those liveries. So let's zoom out. Okay, that actually looks pretty decent. Now let's bring opacity back to 100%, and you guys can see we'll have this kind of like black outline right here, but with the white drop shadows. Again, you know, it's not really nice, so we are going to do one more thing to make it look beautiful, or add one more stroke, and we'll make the position is actually at inside, and we'll make this to white, make this to black, and make this change to 4, make this to 2 or 4, and we'll have this one to be white. And now you guys can see we're actually doing something, make it looks decent. So 4 right here and 4 inside, make it balanced out, and drop shadow, we can actually bring this back just a knot like that right there. Now that looks pretty decent, but if you guys want, you can still increase the border of the black line a bit bulkier if you want, but this is how I like it, so I'm gonna go with something like that. And now here's what's important. You need to export this texture from Photoshop onto your desktop and plug that into your OpenIV and drag into your server or whatever you need. So you go to File, you want to go Save As, select Save As Type to PNG file. I want to make sure this one says testing, and save. And I already have a testing one right here, so yes, I want to replace it. And make sure it's large file size, fast saving, and you press OK. And you want to minimize your screen, and you want to go to your OpenIV search bar, type 16, get your YTD file open, and you want to go search textures and type sign, and here's your original livery. As you guys can see, the one we have right here. We want to go over here and to replace. Do not drag and drop that direct from your desktop into your OpenIV, because you will mess up your vehicle. So the easiest way for right now you want to do is to replace. You want to go down to your testing. Let's see, where's my testing? Right here. So you double click it, and it will actually transfer to the form that it needs to be automatically. So you do not need to touch anything. The one thing that you want to touch is if the map says number 1, and you want to state number 1. Sometimes the non-HD ones will say number 11. That's why some vehicle is not HD'd. But if you change the maps levels to 1, I leave this to whatever the pixel to whatever it is, just press OK, and you want to save it just like that, and don't touch anything else, or otherwise the texture will not show properly. The only thing you need to change is properties from 11 to 1. That's all. And now it's saved, and we're gonna close up the original one, and we're gonna reopen our YFT file, and there we go. There we have the texture that we just made, and of course you guys can see emergency dial 911 and the police sign right here. Of course this is a huge truck, right? The huge truck will have a huge sign on the back, because this is basically the only thing on the back that tells, hey, it's a police car. And on the side we got a huge police sign right here, and we have emergency 911. And now we just need to get in closer to make sure that the letters are not over the border lines, and the lines are actually straight. I want to move over to make sure emergency down 911 looks good, and you look on the side, make sure it's a straight line and nothing is crooked. And on the back, like I said, you will have this part right here, but there's really nothing you can do. That's how the vehicle model is. You can only work the best you can on this type of the trunk. And of course we're missing a license plate. I will teach you guys how to make a license plate in the future, but I already have one being made. Let me find it, and I will import that into my server, and we'll take a look. Alrighty, Guys, so here you go. Now we're in the game, and this is a livery that we just did together. And of course that you can see. No, okay. Now of course you can see everything seems pretty straight with the emergency dial 911, and on the back the police. Like I said, it doesn't really bother that much. You can still see from far away, and of course on the side it doesn't really affect that much. It still looks pretty nice. And then on the other side, like I said, it's just it's really up to how you guys want to do it, and it's the simplest one you guys can ever get. And just keep practice on this and make sure you get the basic skills down. When people asking me what do they need to do, I'm just keep telling them, hey guys, listen, about diving the vehicle, diving the liveries, is 20% of your skills and 80% of your imaginations. If you can get the 20% of skills right, then I'm pretty sure you guys can make pretty awesome liveries in the future. So again, like I said, if you really enjoyed this video and you think this video helps you a lot, be sure to subscribe me. I'm almost 100, so help me to get 100 subscribers. And also like the videos and check out my previous fivepd videos. And if you guys need anything else, you guys can join my Discord. That will be listed down in below as well. So join the Discord, talk with me, ask me any questions that you guys might have. So I hope you guys have a good week, enjoy the Monday, and I will talk to you guys on the next episode, and peace out.